Hi, guys. Welcome to the Advanced Job Search Hacks webinar. My name is Brian Ortiz. Glad to have you guys here today. Just wanted to give a quick welcome to everyone who is joining us from America's Job Bank, everyone who's joining us from meetup.com, and everyone who's joining us from LinkedIn. This webinar is being sponsored by Cadence Staffing. If you haven't joined our meetup group, it's meetup.com/linked. And you can also add me on LinkedIn, and you can send me an email with my email address right there, brian.ortiz@cadencestaffing.com. We are going to jump right into it today. This is my second presentation, so all of the information is fresh in my brain, and you guys are going to have a great time. Let us begin here. Who is this webinar for? This webinar is for those that want to significantly increase your number of job interview requests, improve your efficiency at securing those job interview requests, those that want to master the interview and increase your number of job offers, and also those who want to negotiate the absolute best compensation package. Webinar questions. At the bottom left-hand portion of your presentation screen, you can type in your questions at any time. I'll try to address as many of those as possible at the end of the presentation. There are links to content. If you don't have time to jot down the various links to web content during the live event, never fear. You'll be able to download the presentation at the end of the webinar. Any audio issues? Don't panic. Send me a chat message saying auto repeat, and I'll redo my last few sentences. Who am I? My name is Brian Ortiz. I'm the CEO of Cadence Staffing, which is a staffing company, and Polarity Holdings, which is a holdings and business incubation company over in New York City. Right now, I'm actually over in Connecticut, where I live. I've been hiring talent for my own companies for the last 16 years. I've been hiring in technology, sales, marketing, executives, hiring for entry-level, mid-level, and executive placement jobs. Started to focus on recruiting in 2011, in large part because of the excess job seekers who I could not hire. So here's our first relevant slide of job hack themes to imprint on all of your brains out there. These are going to help you land that ideal job that you're looking for. Theme number one is differentiation. These are all the factors that separate you from the myriad of other job applicants. Theme number two is depth, the deep level of understanding of your target company, role, and company goals. When I mention the word target company, those are the businesses or corporations that you guys are going out and actually trying to get jobs with. Target companies are typically our ideal companies. So for the techies out there, you're looking at Google, Amazon, Facebook, companies like that. Consistency. Does your background and career goals clearly match with the target company needs? Value, the specific goals that you can accomplish which others cannot. And that's one of the most important attribute here. Philosophy. Is your thinking a match with your target company's mission statement? Philosophy is often overlooked in the job search process. When there's a good match between company and individual philosophy, good things usually happen. Relevance and risk. How certain is your potential employer that your accomplishments will translate to success in this new position? We're going to go over how to mitigate that corporate risk in the next few slides down the road. Before interacting with a target employer, step number one, know what the typical salary range is for your desired position and your target area. Use Indeed.com/salary to get that target salary range information. Know how your company stacks up against others in regards to compensation. Use Payscale.com, Salary.com, or Glassdoor.com. Read Glassdoor.com reviews to uncover the typical working culture/environment. Read Glassdoor.com to find any consistently negative sentiment. that negative sentiment may be a sign of an underlying company issue. You may have to look into that company a little bit more. You may opt to actually not continue with the job search process with that particular company if there is an overwhelming amount of negative sentiment. Once you begin the interview process with your target company, here's something that you should do as a first step. Search on LinkedIn for employees that are in the department you're looking to join at your target company. Again, you're going to go on LinkedIn. You are going to do a search for employees in the department at your target company that you're looking to join. Send a quick email to those employees asking them for a brief phone conversation, or you can simply email them over a few bullet point questions. Ask them to describe their hiring experience with you. This information that they give back to you, this is going to improve your leverage during the negotiation process. Here's what you're trying to uncover. Do existing employees feel that they were treated fairly in the interview/compensation negotiation process? Do existing employees feel that their roles were accurately represented by their hiring managers? Do existing employees feel fulfilled in their current positions? By getting this feedback, by getting this input from those employees, you're a step ahead of the competition. Tool number one. So now I'm going to jump to one of the most impactful tools that you can use. Everyone knows what a resume is. Everyone knows what a cover letter is. The number one most underutilized tool is something called a broadcast or value proposition letter. In a sea of templated resumes and cover letters, broadcast letters can be used to set yourself apart from other job seekers. Remember that differentiation theme that I discussed earlier on. The goal of the broadcast letter is to, one, spark interest among potential employers now and put you in line for open positions that are potentially solid matches in the future. So it has a two-pronged effect. It's going to help you now, and it's going to help you in the future. Broadcast letters are letters that are sent to a tailored group of companies that you would like to work for, i.e. your target companies. The broadcast letter is sent without a particular open position in mind. When you're writing a cover letter, when you're doing a resume submission, those are for open positions. Broadcast letter is not. That's what makes it different. The broadcast letter highlights a short list of your most relevant achievements, not your skills. Employers that see value in your accomplishments may request a resume to get the full picture of your potential and match within the company. Broadcast letters will encourage potential employers to view your video resume or personal website. We're going to discuss video resumes and personal websites further on in the webinar. Broadcast letters can be sent via email or even traditional mail depending on your budget. Here in the United States, traditional mail is expensive. It could cost upwards of 50 cents to $2 for printing and postage. So most people do opt for email. If you have a larger budget, you can do traditional mail. Broadcast letters expose you to the hidden job market, positions that are not readily advertised throughout the internet. Broadcast letters can also have recommendation snippets to further enhance an applicant's perceived value. The 3 links that I'm supplying for you guys below, those are examples of broadcast letters. If you don't have time to jot that information down, never fear. You can download the whole webinar after I'm done. Video resumes or video clips. Video resumes can be an absolutely critical factor in your potential hire. Video resumes show potential employers how you look, sound, and articulate thoughts. Video clips don't need to be long, and that's the number one issue that most people have. They create a video clip that is very, very long, and the number 2 issue is that it rehashes everything from their resume and cover letter. You don't want to do that. Video clips can be under a minute. The optimal time frame is 30 seconds to a minute. Video clips should be made with high quality video and audio. This is, after all, a representation of you. Videos can be creative, and video clips, again, don't need to rehash all the points covered in your resume. Videos can be easily uploaded to YouTube or your own personal website. Video resume samples include the 4 links below. And again, even though some of these are stellar, some of them are too long. Some of these go 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You only need to keep it under a minute to have it as effective as you need. Personal websites. Personal websites are great vehicles to control your online brand and web presence. Personal websites are helpful in controlling your message in Google. 50% of employers Google potential employees before hiring. Having a website with the content you wish to highlight is optimal. Personal websites also show that you are savvy with technology. Personal websites allow you to provide a more dynamic introduction when compared to a paper resume. Personal websites, you can add video clips, PDFs, images, etc. that you can't include on your resume. It just looks incredibly more dynamic when compared to that physical old school resume. You can build your personal website with a number of tools. You can use WordPress, Tumblr, Weebly, Visual CV. These are all platforms that are great for creating these personal websites. Always attempt to purchase your name as a .com. To purchase a website, this is really the only cost that generally is associated with this type of job search. It's typically $10 a year to get a .com through GoDaddy. They usually throw in free hosting as well. If your name is unavailable, and if you have a common name, sometimes it will be unavailable, try going for your name as a .org, .info, or .net. Samples of stellar personal websites, the 4 bullet points and links that I have below. Again, you can download that after the webinar is over. Moving on to 2 more of my favorite topics here. Number 1, the interview. Step number 1 before you commence with the interview process. Find out who all parties are that will be interviewing you. Look at employee reviews on Glassdoor. Identify and study company press releases. Here are 3 different sources you can find company press releases: Business Wire, PR Newswire, and prfilter.com. Great sources. Also, what you want to do is follow your target company on LinkedIn. Here is a LinkedIn explanation on how you can follow your target company. It's a long, scary-looking link. Don't worry about it. Copy and paste that into your browser, and you can get that info too. Now on to an actual common interviewer type of strategy to gain leverage over you. Your job is to put yourself out there and gain the best footing as possible. The interviewer's strategy is to hire you by mitigating their risk and not give out a huge salary. So interviewers will often ask you what we call forced choice or closed questions, an example of which is, what do you prefer, vacation time or stock options? Don't feel bottled in to picking one of the 2 options. You can respond with a neither and present a third option, or explain how both options are critical to you. Again, another link on the bottom going into real depth about forced choice questions and how to manage them. Now, we come to probably my singular most fun part of the webinar, and this is how to answer that question that hiring managers always ask towards the end of the interview process. Hiring managers ask, "So, do you have any questions for me?" When a hiring manager is deciding between equally qualified applicants, the questions that you pose back to your hiring manager will often be considered a make or break part of the interview process. So choose your responses or choose your questions wisely. All of these next bullet points will be responses to that hiring manager question. Do you have any questions for me? These responses, some people do not deem as typical, because you don't want to give typical responses. You want to separate yourself and differentiate yourself from the other applicants. So sometimes people reading these responses, their brains explode. Don't worry about it. Choose the questions or responses that you feel most comfortable with. So response number 1, what is a significant recent challenge that you have faced in your role and how did you resolve it? Again, you're posing that question to the hiring manager. So that's going to take the hiring manager back a little bit and say, wow, this individual just kind of flipped the interaction on me here, which is great. Question number 2, or response number 2 is to your hiring manager, why did you choose to work here? Questions or responses 3 and 4 are some of my favorite. For privately held companies, what you want to ask is the overall company vision to remain privately held, or is your company's public outlook looked at something probable in the future? Is your company going public something that your company is considering? That's a great question. It shows that you're looking further into the future. All of these responses, that's one of the keys. It's forward or future thinking. The next response, do you think the current stock price of your organization is an accurate representation of the company's value? Why or why not? For this position, what parameters would you use to define success? Do you have any questions or concerns about my qualifications? The next response is my absolute favorite, and I recommend studying this one carefully. How does your company view creativity, risk-taking, and innovation? Can you give me an example of risk-taking or innovation that failed in the organization? How was the failure managed and addressed? Next one, why was the position created in the first place? What attributes do you feel make the most successful employees in your organization? Questions to ask the hiring manager, part 2. Who was the most successful employee you have hired and why would you rate them as such? Performance rewarded. I noticed from your LinkedIn profile that you had previously worked at Company X. What drove you to transition to your current organization? As someone with key responsibilities in this organization, what keeps you up at night? How confident are you that the candidate you choose for this role will succeed and why? I noticed an uptick in your company's recent press releases. Has there been an adjustment in corporate strategy? Do you see the value that your company provides as being sustainable in the long term? What are the most noteworthy barriers to entry that you feel will prevent competitors from eroding your company's market share? That's got to be my second favorite question. Most hiring managers, their brains will explode when you pose that, but it'll be exploding in a good way. What sets your company apart in facilitating employee success? Moving on, compensation / negotiating hacks. During the job interview, it is ultimately your responsibility to uncover your employers / target department / potential bosses / potential coworkers' most significant pain points. Once you have unearthed those pain points, you can frame your negotiation in terms of having a broader ability to solve these problems. In this role, what is the single most significant thing I can do to help your organization? Be aware of the market compensation range for your target job, location, and level experience. Compensation ranges are going to be different if you live in Omaha versus live in Manhattan. You must have clear understanding as to any unique, valuable, scarce, or complementary skills that you possess. Quantify your value and past potential performance. And when I say quantify, I'm always talking about the math. People love to look at math. Quantify as much as you can. I saved my previous company $50,000, or I earned my previous company over $175,000. I earned my previous company over $3 million. I have the potential to make your department X amount of new revenue based on these past experiences and my one-of-a-kind skill set. That's the language that you want to use during this negotiation. Match your unique skills to the company's most significant problems. Now, the last bullet point is for the inexperienced negotiators or the shy negotiators. Negotiating through email can work well for those that are inexperienced negotiators. It often buys you critical time to work out those points that are important for you versus concessions that you can live without. When you're negotiating via email, it gives you time to get feedback, input from coworkers, from mentors, from peers. It increases your ability to leverage quality answers during the negotiating process. Now, for the pre-offer or beginning interviewing stage, there is often a question that continually comes up. And this is, what is your salary requirement? By answering this question directly, you do give up a certain amount of leverage in the negotiating process. So I'm going to teach you how to circumvent that or redirect that to an extent. Here are some great potential answers. Again, these are all answers to the question, what is your salary requirement, or what are your salary requirements? Potential response number one. Can we come to an agreement first that I'm a good match with this position before we begin talking numbers? I have a good idea as to the market rate / salary range for this job. What is management budgeted for this position? I would need to know more about the intricacies of the position before I can offer up a potential salary range. My salary requirements are negotiable based upon the position and the overall total compensation package, including benefits. I am more interested in speaking with you about the details of the opportunity. Once I fully understand the nuances of the position and we mutually determine that I'm a good fit for this position, I'm confident we can negotiate a reasonable salary. Being compensated fairly for my work is important to me. With that said, however, I am flexible in my salary requirements. Can we discuss the finer points of the position before we start talking numbers? Now, if you're pressed further for salary requirements, sometimes a hiring manager will say, we cannot continue unless we have some hard numbers. If that goes on for 2 or 3 rounds of these responses, then you've got to give a salary requirement. And here's how to word that. The actual figure of my salary requirement will depend heavily on a number of important variables. But my experience and research tell me that fair compensation for this position falls in the range of X to X. Salary ranges that you provide should be wide towards the upper end of your expectations. Never give a low-end salary range, because you'll find in the future when you do get an offer, the potential employer will start with that lower range. So you want to be towards that upper end of your expectations. Twitter for job searching. Twitter is a tool that can be used for job search. It's underutilized, and I'm going to explain now how you can use that. Use Twitter to find a job. Companies have job-related Twitter handles. Make sure to follow these accounts for your target companies. These accounts often update the public first to new job openings. In other words, Twitter can be one of the earliest tools you use to identify those open jobs. Make sure to include a professional snippet in your Twitter bio. Don't mix your professional Twitter handle with your personal Twitter handle. Might not work very well when these employers are trying to get a sense for your professionalism. Include links to your personal website or LinkedIn page in your Twitter bio. Interact, mention, and follow those that you'd like to develop relationships with, mentors, peers, other potential people who will add to your network. Search for hashtags like employment, job opening, marketing job, Google job, Apple job, etc. to uncover even more jobs. Tweet or retweet information that is relevant for your job search. Go to google.com/alerts to set up alerts for industry trends, news on your target company sent directly to your email. You can then be the first to tweet about it and establish yourself as an industry up-and-comer. Sign up with Tweet My Jobs to get alerts sent directly to your Twitter account. tweetmyjobs.com/job-seeker. Job search CRM tools and apps. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. CRM tools have been around for a long time in sales and marketing, but they've also been translated for the job search or employment arenas. Again, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, But what we're going to be doing with our CRM tools, we're going to be managing our job search, our employers, our interactions. CRMs act as complements to LinkedIn, Monster, Indeed, Career Builder. They're not replacements. Jibber Jobber and GoJob Hero are free CRM tools that allow you to organize and manage every aspect of your job search. You can track professional relationships, target companies, and jobs that you apply to. If you're more comfortable using basic Excel, I'm also giving you a template, and that's the scariest URL you've ever seen. But again, you can copy and paste that. If Excel isn't your thing and you don't have Microsoft, you could also use Google Documents, and they offer a spreadsheet as well. Two other tools that can complement the CRM. One is called Streak CRM, and it's a free tool that works with Gmail, and it's used to track email interactions with potential employers and people in your professional network. You can use this in conjunction with Jibber Jobber and GoJob Hero. My favorite tool down low is called Yesware, and this allows you to see when a person has opened your emails. You don't need to wonder anymore if and when an email has been read. You send an email to a hiring manager. You see the hiring manager opens up the email within an hour. You don't get any response. At least you know the hiring manager opened the email. This can let you know when a good time to follow up with a person would be. Now, in addition, you guys can hire my team to help you out. We do mock interview training. We do job search consulting. We do video plus website creation consulting. We do LinkedIn profile edits, traditional resume edits. We have a complete job negotiating package, and we have a comprehensive job search package. You guys can email me at brian.ortiz@cadentstaffing.com or give me a call on the number listed on the website, and we can talk about helping you out in a more formal manner. Audience questions. Give me a second to pop open the questions. Question from Paul: how many LinkedIn jobs can I apply to in a day? Paul, this is a pretty standard question that you really need to have a solid understanding of. Stick with sending targeted cover letters and resumes and targeted broadcast letters. You don't want to do something called like an email blast when you're blasting out dozens or hundreds of non-targeted resumes. That's just going to lower your response rate, and it's going to lower your success rate, and it's going to waste a good portion of your time, and your time is incredibly valuable. Stick with heavily targeted resumes, cover letters, and broadcast letters. Thanks for that question, Paul. Kelsey, how do I find out if a company is private or public? My technique for doing that is going to Google, and I type in the company name with the words ticker symbol. And if you were to type in, for example, Apple ticker symbol in the Google search, what pops up is a chart with the company's stock price, market cap, PE ratio, all those sorts of things. If a company, when you type in something ticker symbol in Google and none of that information pops up, it usually means they're privately held. So publicly traded companies always have a ticker symbol, whether they're traded on the NASDAQ or American Stock Exchange. They all have that ticker symbols. Good question. John, I only have 40 LinkedIn connections. Will this affect my job prospects? Yes, most likely it will. There is a small possibility people, when searching you out and interacting with you on LinkedIn, if they see you have a small number of LinkedIn connections, they may just assume your perceived value is a little lower than someone with 500 connections. I wrote a snippet for the last seminar. It's in a Google shared document. You can get that. It basically outlines how to get over 1,000 LinkedIn connections within a very short period of time. Email me for that, and I will send it over to you. Those are some great questions, and I appreciate everyone being here. We'll move on to the last slide. The webinar is over. Go to Chipotle and enjoy the rest of your day. As someone pointed out to me in the last webinar, if you're trying to get guacamole added onto your burrito, they're going to charge you like $2 or $3 more. It's a lot of money, but I say it's worth it. It's 9:23 a.m. right now. I've got to wait probably another hour or two before I start getting hungry. But I appreciate everyone being here, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the next seminar. And again, any questions beyond what was asked, just zip me off an email, and I will help you out. Over and out.